In a distant kingdom, nestled between rolling hills and shimmering rivers, lived a girl named Cinderella. She was known throughout the land not just for her beauty, which radiated like the sun at dawn, but also for her kindness that touched the hearts of all who met her. Despite her gentle spirit, her life was overshadowed by the cruelty of her stepmother and the relentless mockery of her two stepsisters. They took pleasure in belittling her, forcing her to toil endlessly while they reveled in their own vanity. Yet, through it all, Cinderella remained steadfast in her goodness, her heart untainted by their malice. Each day, as she swept the floors and washed the dishes, Cinderella would often retreat to the garden, a sanctuary filled with blooming flowers and chirping birds. Here, she would close her eyes and dream of a life free from the burdens of her home, where laughter and love would replace the harsh words that echoed within the walls. The garden was her refuge, and it was there that she would whisper her hopes to the wind, believing that somehow, somewhere, someone might hear her silent prayers. One fateful day, an invitation arrived from the king's palace, announcing a grand ball to celebrate the prince's coming of age. Excitement rippled through the kingdom as young ladies prepared their finest gowns, each hoping to catch the eye of the handsome prince. Cinderella's heart leaped at the thought of attending, but as soon as she shared her dreams with her stepmother, the laughter erupted. Her stepsisters mocked her, their voices dripping with disdain as they tore apart her old dress, leaving her with nothing but tattered remnants. Cinderella felt the weight of despair settle upon her. She wandered into her beloved garden, tears streaming down her cheeks, feeling utterly alone. It was in this moment of sorrow that a shimmering light appeared before her, revealing a figure cloaked in a gown that sparkled like the stars. The Fairy Godmother, Mar, with a warm smile, approached Cinderella, sensing the depth of her sadness. "Why do you weep, dear child?" she inquired, her voice as soothing as a gentle breeze. Cinderella, her heart racing with disbelief, poured out her troubles, sharing her longing to attend the ball and the cruelty she faced at home. The Fairy Godmother listened intently, her eyes glimmering with compassion. "You shall go to the ball," she declared, raising her wand with a flourish. In an instant, Cinderella's ragged dress transformed into a breathtaking gown, the fabric shimmering like the night sky, while her worn shoes became exquisite glass slippers that sparkled with every movement. But the magic did not stop there. The Fairy Godmother waved her wand again, and a pumpkin in the corner of the garden morphed into a splendid carriage, its wheels glinting in the sunlight. Mice scurrying nearby transformed into magnificent horses, ready to whisk Cinderella away to the palace. Yet, amidst the wonder, the Fairy Godmother imparted a crucial warning. "You must return before the clock strikes midnight, for that is when the magic will fade." With her heart soaring, Cinderella thanked her Fairy Godmother and climbed into the carriage, excitement bubbling within her. As she arrived at the palace, the grandeur of the celebration took her breath away. The ballroom was filled with laughter and music, and the chandeliers sparkled like a constellation of stars. As she entered, heads turned, and whispers of admiration filled the air. But it was the prince who captivated her attention, his eyes shining with curiosity and warmth. The moment their gazes met, an unspoken connection ignited between them. The prince approached her, extending his hand in invitation to dance. As they twirled across the floor, Cinderella felt as though she was floating, every worry and sorrow melting away in the rhythm of the music. They laughed and shared stories, their hearts entwining in a magical moment that seemed to stretch beyond time. But as the clock began to toll, a wave of panic washed over Cinderella. Remembering the Fairy Godmother's warning, she broke away from the prince and dashed toward the door, her heart racing. In her haste, she left behind one of her glass slippers, a delicate piece of her enchanting evening. The next day, the kingdom buzzed with excitement as the prince declared that he would search for the owner of the slipper. Whoever it fit would be his bride. Guards fanned out across the land, visiting each household, and Cinderella's stepsisters were eager to try on the slipper, each clumsily attempting to force their feet into the delicate glass. Their efforts were in vain, and their frustration only fueled their disdain for Cinderella, who watched from the shadows. Finally, as the guards prepared to leave, Cinderella summoned her courage. "May I try it on?" she asked, her voice steady despite her stepmother's scoffing laughter. The guards exchanged glances, uncertain, but they nodded, allowing her to step forward. As she slipped her foot into the glass slipper, a perfect fit emerged, and gasps filled the room. With a swift motion, Cinderella revealed the other slipper, and joy erupted like a chorus of angels. The prince, who had been waiting outside, rushed in, his face lighting up with recognition.
It's you!
He exclaimed, joy radiating from him. He took her hand, and together they made their way to the palace, where a magnificent wedding awaited. As the celebrations unfolded, Cinderella's heart brimmed with joy, but it was her kindness that shone through the brightest. In a moment of grace, she forgave her stepmother and stepsisters, understanding that their cruelty stemmed from their own insecurities. They had been lost in their bitterness, and Cinderella's heart was too pure to hold on to resentment. And so, in that faraway kingdom, Cinderella and the prince celebrated their love, a love that blossomed from kindness, forgiveness, and hope. They lived happily ever after, a testament to the belief that a gentle heart can conquer the harshest of trials, illuminating the path to joy and happiness.